in my pocket, I carry a stone. And this stone that I carry, I call it a thumb stone, where I rub. And when I be talking to people, they be asking, what are you doing to me? Nothing. But yeah, I know. But you don't worry about this. Now, what were you saying? And this is what I do. I have my stone. So I have another stone in here, and I keep another stone right in this pocket too. And these stones give me my balance of where I am. So I begin to see my structure. So when I do this stone here, I have it here. So I begin to understand what I'm doing. So I'm balanced, and I'm also grounded, and I'm into the power as well as protection, because I deal with a lot of demonic forces and crazy negative energies. But these stones here, these are the ones that are your signature stones of your birthstones. But also when they connect to where you are, you have power stones and healing stones. Then you have stones that deal with the power that come in certain sectors. And what you do is these certain powers, if they are implemented by sayings, which you call prayers, they can actually help you on your way in your struggle of your life. These are things. I'm not talking about incantations and spells, going into witchcraft, sorcery, and becoming a wizard, or as one calls a, what do they call those people? Prophets and prophetess and things like that. That's not what's happening. We're not trying to go there. We're not trying to make you a sorcerer. We're not trying to make you a wizard. Is a wizard just a male thing? Because all the things I've seen in wizard, they wore long robes and had a big stick, big cane, whatever, a big stick with a stone on it or a crystal. But I've never seen. They always call the female a witch. But actually, a sorcerer is both male and female. All right? So Hollywood has given us the wrong definition of understanding. All right? Now, I want to get into the other structures and what's happening, because I've already covered this before, but at the same time, I just want to, I've broken down some things here, and I don't even want to get into that today, because that in itself is there. Now, what I did is, I have an astrological chart here that I copied out of a book, and these are the symbols that they use on the charts. And this is where they have the Aries and etc. And they talk about I am, I have, think, and etc. But we know that the word I is really the word A-N-I, which we know really is what? How you pronounce that? What? Anaya. Anaya. Which means really I am. Which means I am of I am. But the anai means anai, meaning I. And I, anaya, and then am. See, that's why they say I am, okay? These are the certain structures that have been complementary put into this area. Now we have here where we're dealing with the fixed areas and the cardinal, and this one here is immutable, where you're dealing with water, earth, air, and fire, and etc. But what's lacking in here is something called spirit. And spirit, according to the alchemists, they have this one here, which is, I think that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one more. There it is. That's the symbol for spirit. They know that to be true on that end. Then you're dealing here with the aspects, and then you're dealing with these other aspects, and then the points are here. And all this is dealing with astrology. And then you're dealing with the planets, and in the planets there are certain structures. So when you're really talking about reading an individual, I don't know what just happened here, but we'll find it in just a second. Oh, there we go. Go back. There we go. Now, when we're dealing with this here, these are the planets, and in the planets you'll see they have 2, 4, 6, 8, is that 10? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now we know that 1 doesn't exist, okay? But in astrology they have all these things that deal with these different concepts and who is the ruler. And each one of these rules are based upon a so-called angel of the necromancer. And then the necromancer, it develops from there, and you're dealing with the horoscope is based upon the Magen David and the 12 principles. So when people ask me certain questions, they ask me these things and they want a simple answer. I can't give a simple answer to these things because there's much more involved. But what I'm trying to show you in the class here is how to take the basic 7 principles of understanding and be able to do a basic reading on an individual from the time of birth, the correct time of understanding. So now you're looking at 13 new moons, and you know that every year and every calendar year there are 13 new moons. This is one thing that you have to deal with. You know that the 22 letters have a power that are protected by Shekinah Ayah. And even though they may not know it, you know it, and so do the high rabbis and etc., and the mystic ones and etc. So we know that is guided by there. Then you want to deal with the 7 connections of the 7 mystical gates in light, and they are the structures that deal with the 7 sacred letters. Then we're dealing with the 7 principal people and the 7 principal people. Then there's 7 birth times of the 13 that are sacred. And the other 6 are there as just part of the new moon structure and being born. So there's also the level 0, which 0 deals with the factorial, that deals with conditional, that deals with a person, or no, I don't like the word person, an individual who has special gifts and sacred gifts. Understand that. Now, boy, this thing jumping today. Let me see if I can just do it like this. There we go. There are 7 planets or stars, as well as 7 double letters of the 22 letters of Ayah. And this is the key to understanding of your birth sign, as well as the attributes that define who and what you are, according to the ancient ones of Ayah. Now, see the saw following draft of the circle of life. This is used for scrying and the casting of stones. And what we did was, when I say we, I'm talking about myself and the spirits of Ayah, Shekinah Ayah. And this is what we have here. And when we did this here, I made this chart so that it came from the ancients. And when this chart came together, I began to see how things were developed. And you'll see charts that are dealing with, when you're dealing with alchemy, and you're dealing with the Final Fantasy. There was a sort of an animation thing, and when you're dealing with certain things, you're dealing with the things that are developing. Each one of these things deal with the 13 new moons, which some of the mystics and the people who deal with the certain kind of spiritualism, they call them dimensions. And each one of the dimensions is based upon the new moon structure. These are the things. But the 7 that deals with the spirit of the 7 also connect to the 22. And then the 22 with the black dot and the mother and the father letters. Then you have right here, you have this where we're dealing with the 13, which represent each one of the new moon, also covered by the 22. And outside of that is the father letters, Ayah. And the thing is that we are connected, so it's Ayah, no matter which way you're rolling with it in the principal form. And so when you begin to look at these things, you begin to see how they become developed for you. So when you begin to do this, this is a wheel that I'm going to be putting together so that you'll be able to know how to do this structure. So when you begin to take this and you begin to look at what they call scrying or asking a question, because in the Bible they said that they had 2 stones, remember? Or they had certain stones and they would ask the question. And they would call them the what? The Urim and the Thummim. And what happened is they began to take on a meaning of question. But when they did this, they had to do it with the letters. So when they was asking, to be very honest with you, they was asking whom to direct them. As the rabbi would call him Hawa Ayah. As we in the ancient called it, we call her Shekinah Ayah. Can you straighten that out for me and pull that? I got a little Chinese knot in there that my hands will not allow me to do. Now, we know that the letters themselves are called stones or precious stones. Now we begin to understand what these things